Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, with this current situation, with this pandemic situation, mostly people try to struggle to go back to their ordinary lifestyle. So, whatever the lifestyle they used to be, they try to repeat it. But when it comes to reality, life is kind of like a one-way journey. So don't look for U-turns. You cannot make it happen the way it happened already. If you go back to the previous positions, what will happen? You're going to end up with wherever you are today again. So try to be new yourself. Accept this as the new reality in our life and look forward. And when it comes to the Dhamma, there is a quality in Dhamma. It's always lead you forward, onward, up, from this moment to forward, not backward. So then in your mind, keep that quality always. Don't struggle to repeat your life. Get out of that all the past habitual patterns. This is a very important and this is a very good opportunity for you. Why? Because unconsciously, we are all over the world people used to be like machines. We used to be in a kind of like a pattern. We used to be so comfortable in that pattern. And the, the method that we used to live. But today you cannot repeat that. And then when it comes to reality, why you have to repeat? So that means you just keep follow the system. So then remember yourself. Be completely new. That newness is a kind of the vipassana knowledge. You develop it as a profitable skill. So remember, when we practice vipassana, what is the method? Always newness. You never try to bring your past experience to the present moment. So then expand it to your day-to-day life. Why you struggling to repeat something you already have done? It's gone. It's over. If you try to keep doing it, this is as a result of that, what will happen? Unhappiness, disappointment, sad, worry, stress, anxiety, depression, this everything start to come as a package of that struggle. So when it comes to meditation, the meditation will provide the necessary strength to move forward. Of course, it is not easy to detach from something, especially from our own habitual patterns. But there is a way that you can do it. You have done unknowingly, unconsciously, you have done a lot of things in your life like that. As example, as children, remember that your life used to be with toys and playing. But when you become matured, what happened? Naturally, you let go it. And when you were teenagers, you had a different life. And when you became young and you had friends and you thought that people going to be forever and you had some plans, will when we get young, when we become more elders, we'll do like this way. And sometimes you had the plans to live in the same village, to buy the house close to each other, Once a while you should go picnics or like that, you had plans. But what happened? When you become matured, naturally you drop that things. It is not easy, but it happened. And as parents, as children, you had the great relationships. With your parents, you had the dream, oh, I'm going to be with my parents, to forever, like that. But see, slowly you detach from them. They are somewhere now, you are somewhere. And then children came to your life, and then your workplace you used to be, you thought you're going to give your best and you're going to take care of your workplace, and suddenly you fired. Then you went to completely different place, and you change your whole plans, and children came to your life, and then you completely became a different person. You had friend, and now you have a family you have to take care, and you slowly drop that everything. See how you became matured, little by little, little by little. But still there are certain things, as emotions, as habitual patterns, desires in us. We keep going, keep doing, repeating. You can drop that also. So to drop that, mentally you have to be matured. When you practice meditation, what will happen? That mental maturity going to become higher. And then naturally it start to release from you. So that's why you have to keep practice little bit, and keep practice every day. It is for you. So when it come to life, see that entire world nowadays looking for, this antibody for this virus. It is just a physical struggle, and trying to physically maintain. And even 100 years back, we experienced this Spanish flu, and at that time, a lot of people died, and then they struggled to find a vaccine for that, and they somehow found antibody, and then see after 100 years we experience same kind of situation. So in the future, what will happen? There are many things will happen. There are more things will happen maybe. Even sometimes virus can come, or situations can come, that things going to change. And who knows? So then you have to understand that the things not going to be the same like. But how about if you develop a spiritual antibody to your life? It is totally going to be totally different. Have you ever thought about it? So develop something, because this suffering is kind of like a virus. Everywhere, each and every place, it going to attack to us, destroy us. Not only you. Once you start to suffer, what will happen? And then other people also going to get effect. So it is the same kind of nature we have, like this virus. And so the mentally, when you become spiritually strong, and when you develop an antibody for this suffering or unsatisfactory nature, and that with the wisdom, you can have a very good spiritual immunity for your life. Have you ever think about it? Why you so struggle? You look at the world, they spending billions, dollars to find the medicine for this virus. Why? Because this life is very important. Of course, you have to do it. But at the same time, if the people are not spiritually developed, what is the point that having a life here? If the people each other destroy each other, killing, hating, angry, jealousy, what will happen? So then, as the same way that we protect the life, And remember, we have to develop the quality of life. That is very important. Because if there is no such a quality developed with the foundation of the ethics and fundamental human qualities, that life going to be so dangerous. So dangerous. So then you have to understand, just becoming healthy doesn't make any sense. At the same time, you have to you have to spiritually matured. So that is very important. So practicing meditation bring that spiritual maturity, uplift your awareness. And today people talk about mindfulness, mindfulness, mindfulness. But when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, it is completely different. So you have to be mindful to be wise. And you have to be mindful to attain Nibbana. You have to be mindful to gain the liberation. Because otherwise, thieves, they are mindful. Terrorists, they are mindful. Drug dealers, they are mindful. They are mindful than us. So then, you have to understand that becoming mindful doesn't mean it's going to bring the spiritual maturity. You have to be mindful to develop the wisdom. So what is the wisdom mean? Recognizing the true nature. So when it comes to recognizing the true nature, you have to recognize that you have to observe and you have to be mindful not to interfere with your past experience. And you have to allow your mind to rest itself and see whatever happens. And especially within your own inner experience, not regarding the outside. So when it comes to that, there are few things very important when you practice meditation, and it is totally become different from other mindful practice. So when you have these three qualities, it will it will make you qualified, go towards the Nibbana. You can find this only in Buddha's teaching, especially when it comes to Satipatthana. Another thing is when it comes to the liberation or the Nibbana, you need these three kind of qualities when you practice meditation. There are many other meditations and they don't talk about this. And they don't have these qualities when it comes to that. So then your mindfulness, whatever the mindfulness that you practice towards the liberation or the Nibbana or the wisdom, you have to practice your mindfulness with these qualities. So otherwise, if you lose these qualities, you're not going to end up with the liberation or the Nibbana or the wisdom. You may end up with something, or maybe absorptions, high mental power, or the jhana. Maybe you will end up with that, but it's not going to end up with the wisdom. So what are the qualities that you have to keep when you practice meditation? So the very first thing is Viveka Nisita. So the Viveka Nisita means that you have to develop not just the physical comfort and rest. You have to develop a mental secluded situation in you. So that's seclusions is kind of like you find a separate environment and kind of like a private moment yourself to settle down. So there are some people, Even when they practice meditation, they cannot practice alone themselves. They need a group. They have to be with company, with something, somebody. So like that, there are some people, they cannot practice very silence meditation. They get depressed. They need the music. They need the background sound. They need guidance. So that way, you're not going to end up with liberation or the nibbana. You may end up with something. But when it comes to viveka nisita, remember to practice yourself. And if you have something other quality, so get out of it and keep the practice completely mentally rest. Mentally, completely, you develop the environment not to depend from something. You get the complete rest and privacy mentally. You don't wait for guidance. You don't wait for sound. So like that. Viveka Nisita. So that mental restness, that mental comfort or that mental relaxation, that mental privacy giving the physical comfort, rest. So that is very important. So that is one quality that you have to develop when you come to meditation. So once you know the technique, you go yourself. Because if you waiting for guidance, or if you go with the sound, so it is okay. It's bring the calmness, but that's not going to help for your liberation. It's kind of like a little rough, you know what to do. That is the truth. So then you have to practice. You can get into that. When you observe the inhalation, exhalation, and go yourself step by step, step by step. Don't wait for guidance. So develop that. And learn to be alone yourself a little bit. And moment by moment, completely, mentally, completely be empty. And you will see, it's going to bring the strength and the awareness so strongly. It develops your mental maturity. You become matured with practice. That is what you need. Viveka Nisthita. So that means mental, physical relaxation and privacy and separate from everything. So mostly with the perception when you sit for meditation. It means you develop the secluded environment mentally and physically. And it giving kind of like a rest. And the second one, viraga nishita. It kind of like a dispassion, detachment. You not go towards something, even regarding the liberation or the nibbana or the wisdom. You don't go towards something. You completely relax, and then in that relaxation deeply detach. So see that when you develop the jhana or some other meditation techniques, you always dreaming something, dreaming something. See now how it become different. Dispassion and detach deeply from mentally. You develop it as a mental quality. When you sit for meditation, if you observe the inhalation, exhalation, just completely observe inhalation, exhalation. And don't look for something else. Don't wait till something happen. Because we sometimes sit for meditation, we waiting till something happen, till something happen. See where we go wrong? No, it's completely detached from all the becoming nature or the desires. 100% settle down. So that is the second quality. And the third one is the nirodha nishita. Nirodha Nishchita means that emotionally, kind of like from the emotions and the kind of like self arguments, kind of like a self conversation, preparation, that you talking to yourself, always looking and having a conversation yourself. So you get out of it. And the emotions. So because sometimes when we deeply get into the meditation, we feel more relaxed and comfort. So that also kind of like a emotion. And maybe people so attached to that. And then they dreaming about that comfort and that relax, and the very next day when they sit for meditation, they thinking about whatever the relax that they want to come enjoy. And they enjoy it, they get it. They get it not as a result of meditation. Mentally, they create a kind of like imagination. So then every day you go into it, you go into it, you go into it. So always when you become very clear, when you are mentally become matured, what happening, you become strong to let go these feelings, that whatever you gain. So when it comes to vipassana, you don't keep chasing, you don't keep following feelings to feel something. And so whatever happen, even deeply, you not react to it. And some people, when they practice meditation, they cry and they laugh and they shake their body, and sometimes they want to chant. So otherwise they cannot feel, kind of like the people gather and dance together, and they think it's kind of like a part of meditation. After that they feel good, they feel relaxed, and then they again and again and again get into that high and feel that, and they caught up with the emotions. So even without moving your body, deeply you can caught up in that emotion in your mind. So then be very careful. And when you observe, when you become rest and detach from the desires, and naturally you start to recognize there is no argument or the conversation or preparation or any kind of emotion reacting in you. You completely come to a point, steady, clear. That clarity will make you mature to naturally release everything from you rather than collecting and holding, even your inner experience. That is where your liberation happens. That is where, without any struggle, by experiencing itself, you let go it. Your experience become letting go. That is a deeply, completely different method. Your experience itself become a method of letting go. That is where you become free. So remember, Viveka Nishchita, and keep the total independency and keep the privacy, mentally comfort and relax, and bring it to the naturally you will going to see how the physically you're going to be free. So another one is viraga and detachment and dispassion. And don't try to become something or somebody, don't look for something. And nirodha, that that get out of the emotions and argument of the self or any self conversation. If you are able to observe your inhalation or exhalation or any sensation with these three qualities, that will lead you to wisdom. That will lead you to recognize how things come to be as they are. So most of the The practice, when it comes to today, mindful practice, they include these three qualities to their practice. And that is why their mindful practice not going to lead them to wisdom. So when it comes to samatha and vipassana, according to the Buddha's teaching, especially in vipassana, these three qualities very special. And that is why the vipassana lead you to wisdom. So then, so whatever the meditation you practice, remember, keep these three qualities as building blocks, as foundation. And then on this foundation, build up your practice. And every day when you practice yourself, remind and reflect and see these three qualities, and always anchoring your practice to these three qualities and go with it. And then you will see how your mind become matured with your spirituality, with your mindfulness, and that maturity will help you to gain the liberation, and that will lead you to wisdom. So that is how this path will help for you. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ettavata cha ammehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vangotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.